Good morning, good morning. Go Bucks today. We got a long day of sitting in the spreader ahead of us. We're gonna try and get a whole lot of stuff spread. One more load of gypsum for right now. We got a bunch of lime to get spread, and we're gonna try and get the rest of the wheat fertilizer spread. And we could spread another load of potash. A little bit of potash. What I really need to do is have my supplier bring me in a little bit more map out. I got 3 fields that could be spread, and once those are done, once that's done, then they can be ripped and be done for here. So let's go load her up. We still got quite a pile here, don't we? We need about 15,000 pounds. We're just doing that field we finished up in last night. There's 30 acres. So 15,000 pounds. We'll do it. And since we're switching products when we're done here, I don't want any extra. I want the spreader to be empty. I had help to get moved right now, so I brought the tractor up here to the field. We had the lime piled in the field. So obviously we've got the big litter pile there. We've already spread gypsum on this field. Now we're going to spread some lime in the zones that need it. So we actually have 2 different types of lime here. We have this lime, which is dolomitic lime or mag lime, like we call it. It's higher in magnesium. And there are a few zones in this field that need mag lime. And then this pile is calcium lime or high cal lime, what we call Dundee lime around here, because that's where it comes from. And we have a zone that needs this. This is low in magnesium. They're different. You got to use the right stuff. Before we go and spread, we're going to take the tractor and the mower over to the fields we combined yesterday. We have a bunch of spots that had a bunch of weeds and stuff, and Phil's going to plant wheat into one, and I want to spread the fertilizer, so we're gonna go and mow these. Let's check the oil on this tractor. We're gonna mow them down. It's gonna take me a little time that I don't want to spend, but it needs to be done. So oil level looks good. So we're gonna mow down a lot of stuff like this, some of that over there, maybe along the edges a little bit. These weeds and things that grew up that we couldn't get to before we harvested, but now we can. And get it done before we plant wheat out here. So we have a big area here that we don't farm in this. We've never farmed it for as long as I can remember. It's kind of a low muck pocket that is usually really wet. So I'm going to try and at least mow a couple passes around the perimeter. I doubt I'll be able to mow the whole thing, or we even want to mow the whole thing, but it'd be nice to clean up some of it a little bit. There's a post in the corner here somewhere. I don't really want to hit that. There it is, way in there. Got some trees starting to grow up in it. No good. Part of the reason this farm's going to wheat, and it never has before, is so we can try and fix some of this stuff and clean some of these edges up, and hopefully we'll be able to get some tile in here next summer. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but we'll try. Well, I got most of what I wanted to do across the road done. We're going to do it just a little bit in this field where we finished up last night here. There's some weeds down in that, along those trees over there, this edge that I wanted to clean up. This won't take real long. It's been an hour and a half, though, in this tractor, and let me just tell you, I know some people really, really love their 40 series Deere tractors, right? I get it. This tractor sucks. It is not fun to drive. It's rough. It's not stable. You can't see anything because of the crap in the way. It's not comfortable in here. And the air conditioner still doesn't work. We just fixed it this summer and it's not working again. And I have no attachment to this tractor. If we ever got to the point where we thought we wanted to trade utility tractors, which does not happen, by the way, we don't get to that point, I would have no problem getting rid of this 4440. It's just not a nice tractor. So we've got this draw that goes down through the middle of this field, kind of goes all the way across. I don't know how well that shows up, but this half of it is typically wetter than that side. That side we usually can plant. This side is 50-50 whether we actually can plant through here or not. It was too wet to plant this spring, so we never actually got anything growing in here. However, the giant ragweeds grew just fine. But I sprayed this with the drone back in like August. So all those dead stalks and stuff there, that's all from killing those with the drone sprayer. Did a dang good job. I'm impressed with how well everything died. So I'm just trying to mow it off now because we'll do our tillage through here and we'll try and, well, we will get through this because it's so dry right now unless we start getting a huge amount of rain. And then who knows, maybe next spring we get it planted and maybe we don't. Over there where the taller stuff is and the cattails, that's usually always wet. I don't know that we've ever farmed through over to there, and then inside the trees, which is on the neighbor's side, but there's a little pond or swampy area there that, yeah, that's where all the water comes from. It's just low ground here that doesn't drain and there's nowhere for the water to go. It just hasn't rained for 2 months, so now it's dry enough to get through. Okay, well, we got that dike. After 2 hours of mowing around here, I think we're done. It's hot in this camp, so I'm done regardless. Phil's already got an air seeder full planted out, so he's reloading the planter there. And let him keep going. I'm gonna go park this. We're gonna get that load of gypsum spread and go work on our lime pile. This tractor, however, she's much more comfortable. I love this 8R. Anyway, we're spreading here. We're gonna get this load of gypsum spread out, and we should run out or be very close to it. If not, I can either double up some here or we can jump across the road and just spread until we're done. And then we're going to go up and do that lime where we've got our tractors. So we've got 3 semi-loads of the lime there. We've got 1 more in another field we'll have to get moved to. If we can get all of that done today, we'll be doing pretty good. That might be as far as we make it. But, we got more than that to do, so we'll see how we come out today and get as much done as we can. Before we finish spreading this gypsum here, I thought I should take a minute to talk about it again. I've already kind of addressed this in some of the videos before, but I've gotten several comments asking about the gypsum and what the purpose is, why we're using this. Because there's a couple of different things that you can actually use gypsum for. So, first of all, what is it? Gypsum is calcium sulfate, and it has a lot of calcium in it. Oh, I need to go back and look at the numbers and stuff. And then there's also sulfur in it. And depending on how pure it is and your source and different things, it could be anywhere from about 17% sulfur to 23% sulfur, 23.5. And so it does a couple of things. One, it adds calcium to our soil. Calcium is a larger molecule or a larger particle size, and it helps build soil structure and create pore space within the soil where it will help, or it'll actually flush some magnesium out of the soil. And so depending on your magnesium and calcium levels and stuff, if your magnesium base saturations, which we'll talk about that some other time, but if your base saturation for magnesium gets up to 15-20%, then you probably have too much magnesium and you need to flush some of that out, and calcium is how we do that. We want to get our calcium base saturations up towards 80%. And so that means getting rid of some of the magnesium. Magnesium is a much smaller particle size, and it keeps those soils tight. So sometimes when we deal with crusting in the spring, after we plant, we'll get a heavy rain and the soil will crust. If you have more calcium in your soil, you have less issues with that. If you have more magnesium, you have more issues with that. And so putting this gypsum on can help to loosen the soil up and build that structure and help the plants grow better through that soil. That's not the primary reason why I am putting this gypsum on. At 500 pounds to the acre, which is what I'm putting on, is probably not getting enough calcium to have a huge effect doing that. Will it help some? Sure. Is it going to be noticeable for that standpoint? No, it's not. What I am doing with it is I'm using it as a sulfur source. And so if you figured that it was 17% sulfur, the low side of it, at 500 pounds to the acre, that's like 120 something, 123 maybe, pounds of sulfur per acre. And I have been using ammonium thiosulfate, ATS, in my starter at a pretty heavy rate just to get enough sulfur out there for my corn crop next year, because I have no way of applying it in season, right? I'm putting on anhydrous, so I got to put it all on with my planter, and it's just not a great way to get sulfur. Well, this gypsum is a great way to get sulfur, and it's cheaper than the ATS by quite a bit. And so I'm spreading this and then going to cut back on the sulfur in the starter in the spring. Maybe not cut it to 0, but cut down on it. And we're putting so much out here with this, or I'm getting enough with this gypsum, that it probably will carry me through that soybean crop the following year. Soybeans are a big sulfur user. We know that they need it. And so that's why I'm doing it. For me, this gypsum is relatively cheap. And for the low rate that I'm putting on at just 500 pounds to the acre instead of 1,000 or a ton to the acre, it's pretty inexpensive, and it's a great sulfur source for our corn for next year. So that's why I'm doing it. That's my primary objective. Any calcium or soil benefits from the calcium is secondary, but also a good thing. Oh, we got her pretty well emptied, I would say. I'm gonna crawl in here and just kick this stuff down that's hung up in the corner, but that is close enough. That's from me getting some wheat stubble when I've been scooping there. All right, well, let's go to the next field and start spreading lime. I think we're going to have to open up our gate settings a little bit. And what else do we got to do? Just change the settings in our computer. All right, we had to open our gate up to 10 inches. Lime we apply at heavy rates. And I'll explain this one just like we did the gypsum once we get back in the tractor. But we're going to load up. These are going to go fast. These loads are going to spread fast. So. All right, I don't know how much we got on there, doesn't matter. We're going to have 3 loads of this pile no matter how we split it. So try to get it pretty full. I think it's just 3. Hopefully we can get it into 3. Maybe not. I don't know. What did we put on there? 30,380. Yeah, she's full. 30,380. I got all of our settings changed. So we've got it set to mag line. We're spreading the mag line first. And it's the density and other stuff that we put in there from last year is still all there, so we're going to leave that. Our bin setup, there's our 10-inch gate opening put in there. So we should all be good on that. And here is our application map. So we have 4 zones that are getting any of it. The black's not getting any of this lime. Some of that black is getting the high cal lime, which is the other pile over there. So we're going to use up the mag lime first. And yeah, I don't know what our rates are. I'll tell you once we get into the fields or to the zones, but they're high. It's much higher than the 500 pounds we were putting on with gypsum. We might be talking about 2,000 or 4,000 pounds or whatever. We'll see what that says when we get into it. So our green zone, which is probably the highest rate, is at 4,400 pounds to the acre. And you can see it spreading because it's dusty. This is much different than that gypsum we were just spreading. And we're putting a high rate on. That belt is moving. You can't see that, but we might need to slow down. We're doing 10 miles an hour, but it's putting it out there. There's a red zone coming up here pretty quick. But yeah, this is it's gonna drain the spreader in a hurry, putting on 4,000 pounds to the acre or more. See this stuff hitting out here in the bean stubble, so we're definitely spreading that. Looks like a decent pattern. I'm not going to mess with pan testing. All right, now we're into a red zone. We're down to 2,000. So we went from 4,400 down to 2,000 in this zone, and then there's 2 other ones that are somewhere in between that. Spread this till it's gone, and we'll go load up again. Well, we did 10.6 acres on that first load. It went fast. Let's see. Map looks like that. All right, load her up again. All right, we are, what are we on? We're on our second load here, just about done. The rates are a little lower on this side, so we're getting a few more acres than we did on the last one. That's okay, but we're basically empty. As soon as we get done with this pass, we're gonna go up and try and put the rest of that mag lime in. It should be about right. This is the only mag lime we're spreading on any fields this year, so we need to use it up here and get the spreader empty. So it should be pretty darn close. We might have a little extra. I think I needed like 46 tons, and we got 50, so we might have to double spread some of this stuff and put a little bit lighter rate on the second time for just just using it up. But then we'll switch over and spread our pile of high cal lime here. Well, we got our pile cleaned up. We got another big load here. That's significantly overloaded. Our second one had like 36,000 pounds on it. We're a little over what it's rated for, but we're not going anywhere. We're just going back in the field. So it's okay. It'll be fine. We're going to spread this out, use it up. We're going to talk about mag lime here for a little bit and why we're using mag lime. I know I've touched on it already, but this one. 34,250 on this one. 34,250. All right, let's go spread it. Let's talk about this lime. So we're spreading mag lime or dolomite lime. It is higher in magnesium than the high calcium lime. And we're spreading this in certain areas. There's really only these two loads that we're using on the whole farm this year of it. Just didn't need a lot. It's typically needed more so in sandier soils where your magnesium levels can get a little bit low. And so that's why we're spreading this here. Lime, what we use lime for is for adjusting soil pH, right? So whether it's mag lime or high cal lime, we use it to adjust soil pH, to raise that pH. It's essentially ground up rocks is what this is. Like the dolomite lime is a little bit different base material than the high calcium lime. High cal lime is just ground up limestone or limestone dust, and it is very high in pH, and it helps to balance neutral. It helps to balance acidic soils. So if your pH starts getting in the low 6s, into the 5s, you apply lime in order to raise that pH. It is critically important that our pHs be very balanced, neutral, for raising corn and soybeans. And what it does is it affects the nutrient availability in that soil. So at low pHs, certain nutrients become tied up in the soil and unavailable to plants. At high pHs, different nutrients become tied up in the soil. And so it's critical that we keep our pHs between 6.5 and 7. 6.7, 6.8 is ideal for us. And so that's what we're using this lime for. Now, some of the other products and things that we will apply can affect the pH, right? Things like 1034O in our starter, or some of the fertilizers, or if we were applying a lot of sulfur, the ATS, they're acidic, they're low in pH. And so that's why over time, pHs can change along with lots of other reasons, just water leaching from the soils and stuff. But our soils are naturally more acidic than other places in the country that fight high pH. So one thing is, there's different types of lime, as we've talked about. Whatever lime source is closest to your farm, it's probably the wrong kind. You probably need something that's not the one that's closest. Now, neither of these two come from super close to us. The closer one is from Dundee, Michigan area. That's probably 50 miles from here, 50 or 60. The dolomite lime, or the mag lime, is coming from somewhere southeast of Bowling Green, Toledo area. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah. So that's why we're putting on this mag lime in these zones in this particular area. Up on our irrigated field, sometimes we use mag lime because we got some sandier soils up there, and just in some different areas. So that's what we're doing. I got the whole field, or all the zones, done that we needed to. We had a little bit left in our spreader here, so I went through and cleared the coverage map, and I turned the prescription multiplier down to 25%. So we're putting on another 25% basically of what the scripts called for, and we're going to use up the 7,000 or 8,000 pounds that was left in the spreader here, and just use this up, and then we'll start loading up our high cal lime. We'll spread the zones here. We do have more of the high cal lime than we need in this field, but we need it elsewhere. We have a couple of other fields that could use it, and so I'm going to just spread what we need, and then we should be able to put the rest of it in the spreader and just take it with us to the next field. All right, we got the high cal lime, or the mag lime all spread out. There's like a couple 100 pounds left in there, sort of stuck to the sides, but I'm not gonna worry about it. We're gonna load up our calcium lime. Well, I got our first load in there. The rest of this should fit in pretty easy. I think we'll use all of this up, or at least close to it. I haven't really looked at the map yet. This stuff seems a lot finer than the mag lime. It was powderier. I don't know. This is similar to the gypsum, just doesn't have the sulfur in it. I guess I shouldn't say that. They're both high in calcium, right? But they are not the same. So the high calcium lime will alter the pH. That's the whole purpose of it, where the gypsum does not change pH. So here's our map for this. You can see it's different. We were spreading mostly this back here with the high calcium lime, and then maybe that zone in the middle there. So we've got 2 here and then 1 clear up in the corner over there. So we're spreading this stuff. It's definitely a little bit finer. It's dustier, maybe just a little drier, I don't know. But you can notice the wind picking up a little bit on me now. So we've got a little bit of a south wind today, which is why it's so warm. I don't think it's too bad. I think we're still getting a decent spread. But it's way more noticeable with this high cal lime than it was with the mag lime. Got her all loaded up. We got our piles cleaned up as best I could. It'll be fine. Spread it out a little bit. We'll run the ripper through here and work it in, and all good. So let's go finish this up and get out of here. All right, we are done with that. There's our zones and the application map. And we only have 3,000 pounds left in the spreader. It's pretty much exactly what we were supposed to be, I guess. So good deal. All right, now I have to decide whether I want to go and do. I got another field, but we got to get the tractor moved down there. And I want to go and mess with that. It's only 3 o'clock. I probably need to. We're going to take this one back to the farm, see if anybody's around to help me move. Came over to see how the wheat planting was going. He's down to maybe 30 acres, 40 acres, something like that to go yet. Probably going to run just a touch short on seed, but until he gets everything planted out that we've got treated, I don't know how much short. So we're just going to let her go. Oh, there's another spreader. All right, it's been a little bit of a slow afternoon here. I don't have any rides, but my wife's going to come pick me up and take me up to the field to get the tractor. I don't know if she's going to pick me up at the next field, but we'll at least get it back to here for right now. I'm waiting on Phil to finish planting out the wheat that we've got so we can see how much more we need. I did have somebody come and pick up a bag of wheat. The last the wheat that I sold is all gone. Guy picked up some bags this morning, and then the last bulk bag just left. So got that taken care of. So that's all good. Oh yeah, here's another cool thing that I got today that we got to figure out how this works. Maybe one of you guys can help me out here. So John Deere has released something called the grain harvest weight sharing. Basically, we can hook up to our Agromatics Libra system to the ISO bus on the tractor, and it will share that grain weight with the combine, with the John Deere Ops Center and stuff, so you can see the weight that's on the cart from anywhere and add some tracking capability and stuff. So we got to figure out how to install this on the 8RX. This is the serial link that communicates with our Agromatics Libra. This one of these sides of it is just a power cable. That's easy to do. But then this needs to get hooked into the tractor somewhere. These 2 plugs, but I have no idea where. Anybody know where these 2 things get plugged in at? I don't know. I gotta find some instructions from the dealer. I don't think it'll be hard once we can find those connectors, but I don't know where they're at. All right, well, I guess I've got rides. So we're gonna run this down to the next field and get that spread tonight. We aren't gonna get our wheat fertilizer done, I don't think, but we'll get the lime spread, get ready to spread fertilizer, so that'll be good. I just need to get it done before it rains on Tuesday. Okay, here's what we've got. Just 1 load here. I was looking at the map. We actually need like 29 tons. A load is 25 tons, but we've got that little bit on the spreader. We might end up just a touch short on this field, but it will be close enough. So the problem with lime, or I don't know if it's a problem, but the thing with lime is that it comes in 25-ton increments, right? Like there's no way I can get a 10-ton or exactly 29 tons here without paying an astronomical amount in trucking costs. So we round to the closest 25-ton. Usually I round high, but when it's 29, we don't get a whole nother load because then I'd have a bunch extra that I wouldn't have anywhere to go with. So, yeah, we will use this up here. My wife should pick me up here in a few minutes. Phil just called me. He's got about 3 acres worth of seed left and about 10 acres to go after that. So we need to treat another 1,500-ish pounds of wheat as soon as we get back so he can finish planting. Here's our slips. All right, did I tell you Phil called me? We need 1,500 pounds of wheat out of that wagon to get treated. So we're going to do that right now. Got my Sparties on. Actually winning here at Nebraska. It was 14-0 before I ever turned it on, and they've come back to 21-14. So go Sparties. Anyway, let's get this done. Well, that didn't last long. 21-20. Extra point to come. Okay. What do we got? 1507. That's close enough. Auto. Put them back to process. Do a little prime. And go. Alright. This won't take long. Yeah, it's not looking like we're going to get any spreading done here tonight. Oh well, what do you do? I got this 1,500 pounds treated for Phil. He should be here anytime to get it with the wagon. We'll just dump it right in there for him. But I've got another wagon that got dropped off this morning for another neighbor that I need to treat, and I decided while I'm waiting for Phil, I might as well just do that. I got 3 boxes here. He doesn't want it back in the wagon. He wants it in the boxes set on his hay wagons over there. So we're gonna fill the boxes and put them over there. This is, I think, the last wheat of the year that I've got to treat. He might bring me one more wagon. Holy crap, what the heck was that? But it's for the same customer, so that was the biggest boom I've ever heard. Well, maybe not ever, but like, I felt it. Did you guys hear that? Weird. Well, Phil came and got that box that I treated, and then I did the 4 boxes out of this wagon here. It's not empty yet, but they'll have to use those up. Or I got to find some more boxes. I do have more down at the farm, but they're all collapsed. I don't really want to get them out. I do have one of my customers that took a couple boxes that he's probably done with. I could go and pick up, but we'll just use those 4 for right now. So, all right, that's probably it for today. My Sparties sure fell apart there at the end, didn't they? Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Oh, it got dark. Thanks for watching today. Have a great night. If you have any questions or comments, yep, saw that coming. Leave them down below. I've got to coach football tomorrow. If I get back and I come to do some spreading or combining, especially combining tomorrow afternoon, we'll make a video. But it'll be after 4 o'clock before I get back, after probably closer to 5 o'clock. So we'll see about that. May or may not get one for tomorrow. But yeah, have a great night. Hopefully, my goal here is to do the last 150 acres of beans we've got here at Waldron before it rains on Tuesday. Now, that's assuming it's going to rain on Tuesday, which it may or may not. But, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get those done. And then either we can turn and run some corn after it rains while we wait for stuff to dry out a little bit more, or we can get the equipment moved to Berkey and finish the beans down there. So the last bean fields were the last planted. They were towards the end of May. They're still a little wet. There are a few green leaves here and there, but it's right next to my double crop bean field, so Dad is of the opinion that we should go and get what we can and just go around the ones that are still too green. So I don't know what we're going to do. We'll try and get what we can, and hopefully we'll be done by Monday night with the beans here. And we should be into some corn next week, regardless whether that's here or at Berkey, and keep harvest rolling on. Phil should finish the wheat tonight, so we're sitting in good shape. Still got a little fertilizer to spread. We got to finish that wheat fertilizer. But yeah, we're doing well. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.